Thought I'd do an exciting video. Not going to be too long, but just out here putting out some corn and topping off the bird feeders, which really they ain't been going through it too much. Just kind of basically just top it off a little bit, so we really kind of don't eat much in certain parts, certain times of the year. But it's really, what's the day? The 25th of June, 2025, and hot in the 90s, and feels like well over 100, and just to the house out there in the sun. I got my little wagon over there, but I just my little, I don't know what to call it. I guess this where this log fell off that maple tree right there a good while back, and so it got made into a I guess a border. I don't know what you call it. I just stacked it up and kind of made a neat little cut some of the limbs off, and I stacked it up like a kind of a teepee, I guess, and just all the stuff that grows up around it is stuff that most people consider just weeds or whatnot, and except for this is that white snake root. It'll be blooming here probably about the end of summer. This is covered out here in the woods. I seem to kind of stay in the shade mostly. But yeah, this come into summer, it's going to be just a sea of white flowers out there, which is kind of neat. So some of them seed, so that's how come they spread. Sorry if my voice sounds kind of raspy. I'm getting over that crud. Just still I feel a lot better, just all this stuff still trying to come up, but it's not kind of make my voice sound a little crackly. But yeah, it's just, but this grass here is just, it's a native grass that comes up. It's like an kind of inland sea oats. They like shady spots too, and it just kind of comes up and just kind of keep the edge clean up, because I hadn't done any mowing or weed eating in a little bit, because the mower threw the pulley slinging out from underneath it, so we had to wait on the couple little parts to come in for the mower, and then of course last week, all spring and the beginning of summer, it's just been raining, so they've finally been drying out a little bit, and so I think today he'll probably do a little weed eating when he gets home and stuff, but yeah, most all the stuff will be, it's just stuff that just kind of, it all bloom actually, and like this right here is a type of aster. It'll have little purple flowers here at the end of summer, and a lot of this stuff will be blooming at the end of summer. And this right here, hopefully the deer don't come by and eat it down. Also, just old weed that most people, I think this is called I think I might be wrong, but an old book I got, I didn't look it up or anything. I just, recognize it from seeing it just growing out, weedy patches. I think it's called a Florida blue lettuce. I know I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. But it's got flowers. But it's just kind of a little wild little spot that for my bird bath and the bird feeder and stuff. And then this one plant back here, there's quite a bit of it in the woods at certain spots on the property. Oh, excuse me. This patch we dug up on the front of the property, like where the driveway is on the steep part. You go across and like going up the road, there's on the bank there's a whole bunch of it. When we used to walk, that's how I saw it. So it's been a while that we dug it up. I saw some of it blooming, and I thought, what in the world is that up there? So, and it's called black cohosh. You can buy it on the vitamin aisle, but we dug a patch of it. It's been a long time ago, but it's the first time it's ever bloomed, and this is what the plant looks like. But most of the time I read about it, so they're not really regular about blooming. But it's the first time it's ever bloomed. It's been blooming You can tell it kind of started from the bottom and worked its way, it's working its way up. Looked like it bloomed again, but probably those going to be seed pods. I don't know. Only one little flower stalk, but that's what I thought was kind of neat. I was like, wow, you're finally going to bloom after being here all the time. Kind of funny. A very peculiar smell, and I wouldn't really call it a good smell. But it's pretty though. So, here's some of those hostas you gave me. They made their way over here by the seeds, and I'm surprised there's not more of them around here. There's quite a few of them come up around the chickens, but this is the only patch that's come up just in the woods. Looks to be 3 of them, which you can't really tell, you know, of course the leaf part's down there and all the weeds and stuff, but looks kind of neat down here. All this whole edge here, like I said, and this right here will be blooming too. This right here is called a wing stem. All these little plants here, they get pretty tall. And those kind of like have like a yellow daisy kind of a flower, kind of a pale yellow. They actually do a fair amount of blooming, but almost all this stuff will be at the end of summer blooming. Like there'll be the white snake root, there'll be the goldenrods, the wing stems, the asters, which there's a lot of that mixed in here. So with my grasses, I did those grasses from seed when we first moved here. I'm not going out there in that sun. The sun is just, it's like scorching hot. At least today there's a slight breeze, barely. But yesterday it was just like stagnant. There was like no leaves moving nowheres. Oh, there went 2 hummingbirds chasing each other. But yeah, all this pretty neat. Just kind of glad they bloom. They probably won't bloom next year, but maybe never. You don't know. They might bloom more next year. But there's a whole. I know where another patch of them is. It's down in the woods, down on that side. But they grow in big patches, and they just don't always bloom. It's just kind of random. Yeah, I feel the breeze. It makes it better to have some air movement. Can't stand not have air moving even in the house. But there's my oak leaf hydrangea. It's got really big over the years. It's I put out three pretty good blooms. They're faded out now. This is what they look like when they're on the end. They start out as kind of a real creamy white color, real pretty, and then they fade to this kind of a dusty pink. They look pretty though. And pretty soon the deer will be coming over here. They always seem to come and nibble, but they don't really do much. They might take off some of the ends of it. You see why it's called oak leaf. These get really, really big. Wait. A little dry spot over here, as long as we keep getting, rain off and on, it'll be fine. But the minute we start going without rain for about a month or so, being next to that tree, I knew it needed shade, so I was kind of limited. Although now that I have the garage flower bed, it probably would have been okay over there, but then it would have been too big for that spot. So it's okay over here. It's got a spot it can get however big it wants to get. And I've been, in the wintertime, I put down straw for the chickens to help with the mud and muck and stuff. Towards the end of wintertime, I'll rake a lot of it out of there, and I've been putting it underneath there, and it's kind of helped to make a mulch. This one you don't have to cut back, I don't think. I've trimmed it up some places, like where some of the limbs are dead. But these, they grow from the old the old limbs and stuff. So I think those big hydrangeas with the big blue blooms, I think those got to be cut down to the ground. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's so I put a lot of dirt and straw from the chickens and stuff over here and are all around it for a few years now, and it's really helped help hold the moisture down on it. So it's made a big difference on it. Over here and see the chickens, I pulling a few weeds. I threw them in here to Rusty's side. But yeah, that's what we done over there to his coop. Is this pallet used to be on that side, in between the coop and the post, right there. And then I had just a makeshift old shower curtain all around, just because when it rains during the day, they'll go underneath there. And it's just kind of stable, just kind of stapled to it, kind of a makeshift thing for them that I've done, during the winter to help with keep the cold wind off of them when it rains and stuff during the winter. But then we got that, I don't know what you call it, but I guess you could use it for like carports or, I don't know, but you can kind of see what it is. They come in big long sheets. So we put it all around, put it on those two sides. I think the side underneath their porch there, I might put a half piece. May just leave it, I don't know, but it looks a lot better anyways. And so I took the pallet and kind of propped it up and kind of another little, kind of like a porch for them in a way. So they get up there on their perches and stuff and roost, whatever you want to call them. And what you doing, baby chickens? They were getting big, huh? I've been calling this California gray, I've been calling it Checkers. I don't probably what I'll call it, Checkers. She's a wild little thing. She's real kind of flatty like. What you doing? Huh? So we've got them in the middle of March, April, May. She's 3.5 months old, going on 4 months old now. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's the California white. Her comb's flopped over. She'll get her some sun. Her comb's flopped over like a leghorn. Of course, they are mixed with a leghorn. Her and then that one, they're both mixed with leghorns, but they both have mixes of leghorns, but I forget the other one that they mix with. What you talking about? Huh? What you talking about? Huh? Everybody's down there scratching in the dirt, trying to say cool. See Mavis. Excuse me, there's F&M and White Rock. Sussex is over there. Wonder where Hazel's at. She's probably inside, huh? What you doing, Checkers? What you doing? So next we gotta do the work on the coop. Figured out what we're gonna do for that. Just basically make a big awning to come out over the top of it. Basically to help the bottom stay dry. And we put this little catcher thing here dug down, and a lot of people use them in more like in concrete places where they're like set in kind of. So it kind of pricey. There's 2 pieces. So I said that's when it rains, really hard rains, it washes down through here, and then of course in the rain coming down, it'll pond up there in the front. So that's caused some problems with all the paneling there. So that's kind of going to have to be fixed somehow or another. I guess he's got some ideas, but one other main thing to help is put it on, and we already got the 2x4s and stuff bought, and we're going to use that clear stuff for the roof part so that way it stays, so it, stays light and still light gets through here and stuff like that. Frame it in and bring it out to here. So that's why that post is right there. So it's going to come out. And so basically this whole front will have like a porch, but it'll be clear. So, but yeah, this right, what, hazel. Yeah, this just helps big time because it actually helps. It'll catch that water and divert it. It's open, so it'll divert it out and run it out to there. That's helped stop it come running down through here like a river, but it doesn't help all the buildup from the, from this being open. So that's the next plan. So, and it's gonna tear down all that stuff over there, and I believe what he wants to do is put some more panels over the top, and so basically block, have the side covered too, because these two corners are the ones that's got the issues because it's such low to the ground, and try to keep it as dry as possible, and then eventually the harder part will be fixing the front of it. So fluffing it up down there. Oh, so yeah, that tear all that stuff except for the porch. Their little built-in porch, that's staying, but that awning that I got off Amazon a few years ago, that was that thing ain't junk, ain't worth nothing. And then this little side part here on the end, that was just a little makeshift to kind of try to help cover that corner, but so all that stuff's coming down. So I hate to see it sit here and rot. So I'm try and take care of it as best we can. That's where the yellow bird, I can't never pronounce, Pronotheri warbler. That's where she's got her second nest right now. It's she got 3 tiny little eggs in there. She comes in here. She don't stay on here during the day because it's too hot. I see her in the evening. She'll come down here and go to bed. When I'm outside, I hear her. She'll come on that beech tree and then she'll come in here. She'll sit on them for the night. But this bird nest been here a long time. Bird house. I had to make me I just found a little bracket and screwed it in because this right here, little chickadees in the early part of spring, they had a nest in here. And then one night, this little plastic thing it's just bendy. So, it was either a raccoon or a possum got up there and opened it up. Because they just pulled it right open. So, this is pretty good on there. So, but this one didn't get the little built-in porches like we did for the birdhouses, the 3 birdhouses, but this originally was supposed to put there just to have a camera to watch the chickens a long time ago, but that kind of didn't last very long, so the camera got moved somewhere else. But you can tell the carpenter bees have really done their work on that post. But I finally got out here and raked back all the rocks to about right there, because this front part had a lot of weeds. So I raked all the rocks back. Of course, a lot of the rocks have been, through the 8 years of walking down there, rocks have made their way down to the front. So when I pulled it back, I didn't have much to pull back forward. So I put down some of that weed block up here, and I bought some of that, like 3, 4, 5 bags of. At first, it's that old, what they call drainage rocks. I think it's like $2 a bag. But 3 or 4 bags wasn't quite enough to fill it, so we got some more. So we added more rocks to the front. So it's better now, so there won't be no weeds growing up front. And the rest of that stuff's like some baby hostas and all that phlox that came up this spring. But so down there it's not too bad, but up here was the worst because it gets the most light. But anyways, see of course, they're blooming for you too, but it's my hostas she gave me, and this little plant here I dug up off the edge of the woods. I can't remember the name of it, little native plant that grows wild. It's fixing to start blooming. It's fixing to have these little, not quite opened up yet, but it's had a whole bunch of them. This is a little purple aster. It'll be blooming in the end of summer, and oh, those hostas in that hosta there just come up. It's another seeded one. But all the hostas that are in these beds here, I put there. But what y'all hear? What is it, Hazel? Something alerted them. Just my little, I guess like Jess calls on her, you turn a little woodland garland. That's what I call it, my woodland garden. That's my sound. Everything but the hostas come grow wild around here. This will be blooming pretty soon. I forget what it's called. I dug it up out of the woods. It's got a real pretty little flower. Almost looks like a hosta in a way. Of course, when it's blooming, I'll show you a picture of it. Just beginning to put out a little. I transplanted a baby guacamole hosta down here, and I moved that over here to this side. What is it, Hazel? Oh, I hear the pronotheri bird. She's somewhere in the beech tree. Now that big open patch there that sunshine in, I wonder if she's gonna. Oh, let's see her. See if I can. She's not gonna stay right there. She's wanting to go to her nest. Just missed her. Should come check on them throughout the day. But yeah, what I was saying was, when there's a big sunny patch right there, normally there wouldn't be that. Of course, in wintertime, that's where the sun stays on this side, and they get full winter sun, because the sun stays on this side. But of course, summertime, the sun's over there. But normally it would be completely shade, except for a little dappled. But that one big open spot that had a big tree, it died. I noticed a few years ago it was dying, but you can't really get all of it up there because it's back behind part of that big maple. But yeah, that's how come it's a big tree too. I don't think I can. Look, good thing though, it's got to lean away from Rusty's coop. But you'll see parts of it. Oh, there it is. You see it now. But yeah, it's right beside the fence, actually. There's a weed eat over here. What's these right here doing kicked up for? What y'all doing? Said we're hot. Said we're hot. You see how close it is to the lot. Yeah, it used to have a poison ivy vine on it. I cut it a long time ago, but that's not why it died, because it was nowhere near big enough to do any damage to the tree. But that tree right there, I don't know, it's been a while now, but that tree one day would come home. It's been a long time ago. It had a storm and it twisted at right there, twisted, and its other part, the top part, laid over there because it's rotting now. But yeah, there's some kind of hickory, but you see how close. But that's how come. Of course, it'll change, but as the sun moves around. But so they got a little bit of sunny patches, but mostly they got all shade. So, what's you doing, Hamburg? Where's you, Hamburg? Well, I think I'm gonna go. And my poor ears up there, they're like hot sun. They'll get shade here shortly. Once the sun starts going around the house, once it gets on the front side, they'll be in the shade. But yeah, they're scratching in the dirt. Well, I'm gonna get off here and probably go inside and quit rambling. So that's what I'm doing. I got my little wagon. Oh, look, Kinsley, Kinsley girl. She's I'm hot. She's like, I'm laying in the shade over here. She's like, I'm okay. Everybody else is in the air conditioning, so maybe the bluebirds are babies that were over there in the second. They did their second batch in that house way over there. First batch is on that one over there. Hoping maybe like they did past couple years, they'll put it over here, the last batch of the year. That's a brand new birdhouse. I mean, not the posts and stuff, but the house itself is a new one. So, but anyways, I've blabbered enough, and so I shall get off of here, and another exciting video later. Bye bye.